Hey, it's Shelley Chapman, aka Shelley Wellness, discussing mindfulness, fibroids, and healthy eating. In 2009, I had a pap smear and it came back irregular. My doctor told me that I had 3 small fibroids. She said, don't worry about it. It'll probably shrink, it'll probably go away. They're so small, they're not even significant, it should be fine. So I remember thinking to myself, okay, no worries, I'll leave it alone. A year ago, I went back and got another pap smear and found out that not only had my fibroids grown, but that they had increased the number as well. So even though she said it was not a bad case, the case was still pretty mild, for me, that was alarming because that said to me that I'm not taking care of something, that something in my womb is off. And my womb as a woman is a huge part of my experience. And so if she's off, I'm off. I had to fix it. My doctor gave me options, and surgery was one of them. And I remember thinking, nah, I can heal this. I can heal this. I can heal this. So after leaving her office, I decided to, 1, hire a new doctor, because anyone that goes directly to surgery without even checking in on my lifestyle is a red flag for me. And 2, check in with my diet. Something I was eating is contributing to the growth of this. And there's also some emotional stuff that's happening that put them there in the first place. So I needed to commit to eating fibroid-free foods. So what are fibroid-free meals? In our traditional diets, we had foods that strengthened us. We had foods that protected us. And the more and more that we get into this processed, commercial, convenience, fast food diet, we begin to take away those elements of nourishment. It tastes good, but it also creates issues like fibroids. So callaloo is a plant that grows abundantly in the Caribbean, and here in the United States it's kind of hard to get, so if you can't get it, then you can use spinach. But if you live in an area where there are lots of West Indian markets or even African markets or Latino markets, you might find callaloo there, so you can just ask. So first we prepare. So to clean the leaves, I prepare a solution of vinegar and water. Now during the washing process, I take the time to put my hands in the water. While I'm in there, I'm massaging the leaves. I'm running them past one another, but I'm also giving thanks. I'm also recognizing that this plant is going to go into my body and do what it is that I need it to do. Part of the process is this prayer. You're infusing the food with the gratitude that you have for it. This plant came into being so that you could be. We're using okra, we're using pumpkin as well. If you can't access pumpkin, then you can use butternut squash. I'm also using coconut milk, veggie broth, and green seasoning, and jerk seasoning. Essentially, you take all your herbs and your spices and you grind them down into a paste. And this technique lends a different flavor and even health benefit as opposed to using ground spices only. In Western American cooking, we rely on ground spices, so there might be onion and garlic, but everything else is a powder. And that's also part of the reason why our bodies don't receive the maximum nourishment, because we're not using as many fresh ingredients as we could. So what I love about this recipe, this callaloo, is that it demands that you use fresh ingredients for it to taste amazing. So once you have all your ingredients ready, you can take a nice big pot and heat coconut oil in it. Once the coconut oil is heated, you just want to add in the green seasoning. And you're just going to fry this green seasoning until it gets nice and fragrant. And once you can smell it, add in your okra, add in your pumpkin, and stir those around. And once the vegetables are covered in all the green seasoning, then you add your coconut milk and your veggie broth. And now you've created the base of the stew. You can also feel free to adjust the seasoning here. So here's where you can add in more green seasoning or more salt. Then you want to add the spinach and the callaloo. Now we add this last because leafy greens don't take a long time to cook. You add them in batches, and once that cooks down, you're essentially done. But I like to have it more of a creamy texture, so at this point, I take my stick blender and I blend it. You're done. You can keep it just as it is, completely vegan. But if you want to add a little bit of oomph to it, and you eat crab or seafood, then you can add that in as well. I consider myself a healthy eater, but listening to my womb has taken it to new levels. I hope you take the time to cook this recipe and make it your own. Don't worry if you don't have all the ingredients, you can substitute. I'm Shelley Wellness. If you know a woman who's recently discovered that she has fibroids or is currently suffering from fibroids, please share this video with her.